Dear brothers and sisters, let us continue the book Reading Reality at Dawn, chapter Spiritual Training. Most of the teachers of religion have adopted artificial methods for developing certain spiritual conditions in an aspirant, but it is a very defective process. For example, in order to practice Gyan, Gnosticism, and create within the aspirant the state of Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma, they advise him to meditate outwardly, thinking the same thing all the while and repeating the same words every moment. This is a mechanical process and leads to internal grossness. The real state of Aham Brahmasmi is never created by such artificial means. The repetition of the words over and over again helps him to form a habit of tongue, and the same words slip out every moment. It is absurd to conclude that thereby he has become Jnani, Gnostic in the real sense. They may repeat the words 100 times and force their tongues or thoughts every moment to imagine everything as Brahma, but still they may be as far away from it as ever. The practice creates an artificial atmosphere around him, which helps him to imagine the same thing outwardly. The condition disappears if he gives up the habit of repeating the words again and again. It is therefore quite evident that the state of Aham Brahmasmi, thus supposed to be created, is not really genuine but only false and imaginary. Besides, even the real state of Aham Brahmasmi, which is commonly supposed to be a very high attainment, is not really so. At this stage, a man, though relieved to some extent of the entanglements of Maya, is not actually beyond its final limits. Consciousness of self still exists at this stage, which is nothing but grossness, though in a very subtle form. Those who preach it from the platform as the highest form of Gyan, beyond which little remains to be achieved, are grossly mistaken. It is not our destination, but we only pass by it to embark upon the next stage. Those who stick to it, thinking it to be reality or the final goal, are committing a serious blunder. We have finally to arrive at a point where everything ends, including this idea of Aham or I. Here, Babuji Maharaj is telling us about the artificial methods developed by some teachers or so-called gurus. Most of the teachers of religion, they adopt artificial methods for developing certain spiritual conditions in an aspirant. But it is a very defective process. For example, in order to practice Gyan, that is Gnosticism, and create within the aspirant the state of Aham Brahmasmi, that is, I am Brahman, those teachers, they advise their disciples to meditate outwardly, thinking the same thing all the while, that is, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. You think like that. Each and every second, you start thinking that you are Brahman, and just you recite those words, that is, I am Brahman. You repeat or you start chanting those words, I am Brahman. So, this is really a mechanical process and it leads to internal grossness. So, it will never help us at any time or is of no use. So, the real state of Aham Brahmasmi is never created by such artificial means, because it is a natural phenomena that an abhyasi experiences internally after certain practice. So, the repetition of the words over and over again helps that abhyasi to form a habit of tongue and the same words slip out every moment, and he starts saying it as Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. But it is absurd to conclude that thereby he has become Jnani in the real sense, isn't it? If anybody slips out every moment the words from their tongue, that is Aham Brahmasmi, will they become the Jnanis? No. They may repeat the words 100 times and force their thoughts every moment to imagine that state of condition, that is everything as Brahma, but still they may be as far away from it as ever. So, just simply uttering the word or the sentence, I am the Brahman, will never take anybody to that state of condition. So, it is a natural state of condition that should develop in an abhyasi through proper means of yogic practice internally. So, the practice creates an artificial atmosphere around him which helps him to imagine the same thing outwardly. What is that practice? The practice of saying Aham Brahmasmi several times. That creates an artificial atmosphere around him. That helps him to imagine the same thing even outwardly. So the condition disappears if he gives up the habit of repeating the words again and again. So it is therefore quite evident that the state of Aham Brahmasmi, thus supposed to be created by chanting that sentence, is not really genuine but only false and imaginary. So besides even the real state of Aham Brahmasmi, which is commonly supposed to be a very high attainment, is not really so. That's what Babaji Maharaj is saying. So at this stage, what happens? A man, though relieved from some entanglements of Maya to certain extent, but is not actually beyond its final limits. So here consciousness of self still exists at this stage, which is nothing but grossness, though in a very subtle form. That means the grossness exists in its subtle form in the state of Aham Brahmasmi. So those teachers who preach it from the platforms, that is standing on the stage and addressing the crowd as the highest form of jnana, beyond which little remains to be achieved, are grossly mistaken, because it is not our destination. That means being in the state of Aham Brahmasmi is not our destination. Our destination is beyond everything. Those who stick to it thinking it to be reality or the final goal are committing a serious blunder. Okay. So, where we have to reach then? What is our destination? Babaji Maharaj is revealing us the truth of our final state of condition in a simple sentence. So he is disclosing the truth in a simple sentence. That is, we have finally to arrive at a point where everything ends, including this idea of aham or I. So, dear brethren, Let us check ourselves inside where we are standing now. Because if at all we want to reach our final state of condition, what should be our condition? Even the idea of aham or I should not be there. Completely it should be dissolved or merged into that highest state of condition, that is masters. So, the final state of condition is complete negation, that is complete dissolution of I. So, we should pray for Master to bestow us this state of condition, and with this aim only we should continue our practice. With this I conclude today's satsang. Let us know more aspects in the forthcoming satsang. Till then I take leave. Pranams. Namaste.